Let's start with the disclaimer first. Hello everyone. Today we will talk about project requirements, work breakdown structure, Scrum, Kanban, and finally JIRA. I decided to go with the following order because I think that it is good to have some kind of background, really necessary minimum background before go to the JIRA, because we need to know what is the project, what is the requirements, what is the work breakdown structure, where do we get these requirements from the customer, and what does the product owner do in the project, or why can't we as developers just sit, relax, write code, test it, and etc. But now we need to reprioritize things, or we need to do it in a certain way, and probably it will be split in different parts depending on the content. Let's see how it will go. It is just a small part of the product and project overview, I will say, but I hope that it will give you at least some hints to think about, to consider, and most important, to question. Please be prepared. It will be most controversial video probably, because it will have a lot of unpopular opinions to developers, to managers, to product owners, to everyone. I would beg you to think critically, to analyze the information, to consider it. If you have time, if you don't have time, please find it. But just go through the basics of the project, just to know the structure of the organization, to know basics, so you know what is your, if I can say so, area of the responsibility, so you know what is the others' areas of the responsibilities, and you will know whom you should ask and for what. Otherwise, it's quite easy to make a mistake and ask wrong person for things and get nothing, be frustrated, and eventually burn out. First of all, it will be probably a long video, at least longer than 5 minutes, I hope. So please take some paper to take notes. If you want, you can grab your favorite beverage. If you want to get some fun, you can play some music on the background, but please make it a bit lower so you can hear me. Let's get started. So, jumping to the project. According to the project management, I will also attach probably a link to some documents or websites. But what is the project? When we are talking about project, like real project, we are not talking about project that we are creating in Visual Studio or any other integrated development environment. We are talking about something what we are doing. So we are writing a code to run an application, to run a service, to run a code to collect data from sensors and present to a user. We are writing a code to display pictures on the dashboards or something else. We are doing a bunch of the things. And the project itself, it is basically this set of tasks to get, let's say, our wishes real. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not successful. Sometimes it is with side effects, sometimes it is without side effects. Project might have a great idea, project might have bad idea. Now you could probably raise the question, and why shall we know what is the project, why it is needed, etc. Because when we are working in a company, we are working with one or with different projects. If we are self-employed and we are working on something fun, that's also a project. So almost everything what we are doing can be considered as a project. Why we are talking about the project here first? Because project gives us an idea what should be done. Probably it will give us some economics or finances to be able to pay for our work. And most importantly, requirements. So let's go to the requirements. I will send the link to this page. It is Project Management Institute. They have a really good document. I think that it is possible to find a PDF document for the project management. I would recommend to read it. So according to the requirements management, requirements will help you to understand, to analyze the amount of work, the feasibility of the work, and what is needed, what is not needed. Please read this page. It might be interesting for you. Based on the requirements, you are planning your work. I wanted to show you this picture because it is illustrating the problem nowadays. Too many people, too many elements are involved in the project. All of them might have different understanding, different views, of course, different ideas and wishes. Let's look at this picture in a different way, and I will open another picture. And it is work breakdown structure. I took it from the page, I think it is projectmanager.com. I would say that it is kind of a skeleton of this picture that we have. In the beginning, every project should have its own work breakdown structure to be able to analyze important milestones, the amount of work needed, the requirements, people who is going to do this project, how to control it. It is called here close out. It is how to end the project. And you can see that it has different stages. So initiation, planning, execution, control, and close out. Planning, execution, and control are not sequential, but it is iterative process. So it goes planning, execution, control, and right after it again, the controlling the planning, how goes it according to the control of the execution, and then tuning execution based on the planning, change it or not. I will say that this is a skeleton of this process. Well, if something is changing during the project, it should be communicated in all levels. But as usual, we have a problem with it because too many people means less responsibility. Less responsibility, more flexibility, more relaxed way, and then we have some problems as usual. And we ended up usually here on some of these pictures. So work breakdown structure. It is the way how to define stages or milestones or key moments of the project, maybe in timeline or maybe in the execution line. We can work on the project in different ways. When we're talking about the project, we might have kind of sequential execution, like a building construction, which has relatively small chance that we would need to reconsider something. We have software development, which has quite often too many changes. And usually, I would say that the project itself might be considered into two major probably methodology, how to execute it. One of them, which is called Waterfall, and it means that we have these stages, for example, idea, proposal, planning, design, development, testing, deploy. Usually it means that in the stage of the development, there is a really small chance that we will go backwards to the design and planning, but we should go forward to the testing and deploying. And sometimes, for example, you just joined a team in a new project or in a new company. Quite often it happens that you just have a bunch of the tasks to do. For example, onboarding, when you need to set up a laptop, get an access to everything and etc. And there is no real work so far, or maybe you need to learn first of the environment. So then you might apply waterfall methodology when you just get a bunch of the tasks and then depending on the state, you're just doing them. But then you can switch to the agile. And under agile, it means that you are working on the task depending on their priority from the customer perspective. And periodically, you are checking with the customer, for example, how urgent is it. Then you reprioritize things and then you continue your work. We will go through it in a few minutes. In the waterfall, we do it quite often sequentially. For example, when you are wearing on your clothes, you have your own order and you're just pulling on socks, then you take pants, for example, and etc. In the agile approach, it is kind of when kids are asking you, for example, what to wear and where is the jacket and etc. And then you need to check first the weather, then you need to check what was in the washing machine, what is dry enough, what is dirty enough, and etc. And then based on this, you are suggesting clothes to kids, for example. It's a quite bad example, but that comes to my mind. If we're talking about the agile, quite often it means that you have a group of people and you define the time scope or time window, 2-3 weeks. Your team takes 10-15 work items to work on within these 2 weeks. In the end of the 2 weeks, or so-called sprint, you show to a customer or representative of a customer the work done, and also you checked what is left, and then leftovers will be transferred to the next sprint, and then you planning your work based on updates from the customer. What is the Agile and what is Scrum? According to the Atlassian.com, Agile methodology is a project management approach that involves breaking the project into phases and emphasizes continuous collaboration and improvement. Teams follow a cycle of planning, executing, and evaluating. The Scrum is an agile project management framework that helps teams structure and manage their work through a set of values, principles, and practices. It means that if we apply agile methodology, we are not applying waterfall because they are self-exclusive. Let's talk about the ideal world. In the work breakdown structure, we will focus on the planning, execution, and control. And if we take a look at the agile or Scrum, what we can see here that we have planning. So every sprint will starts usually with planning. What work items we will take into the sprint. Then we have execution, and then we have two types of the controls. I would say mini control or micro control when we have daily Scrum meetings. On daily Scrum meetings, usually it is every working day. At some time, team just collected and kind of informing each other what is the status of the work. Usually, the Scrum meeting contains 3 important bullets. What I have done yesterday, what I'm planning to do today, and third one, what is the problem or obstacles that I have. And then we have, I would say, macro control. It is sprint review, when we collecting together and then we review what has been done and what is left for the next sprint. Do we have the work items that we can present to a customer? Unpopular opinion or controversial information. Quite often we do major mistake. I do it a lot. On the Scrum meetings, we are saying what we would like to hear, but not the real problem. For example, I took a task which is quite difficult for me, really tough, but I'm a strong person, I can do that. So on the daily meeting, I'm saying, I'm working on this story, I have some problems, but I will finish it. And then when someone will ask you, usually one of 2 questions. The first one, do you believe that you will finish it during this sprint? Or would you like to have any help? The answer will be something like, yeah, sure, I will probably finish it today or tomorrow. And on the question about the help, usually it means, I need to check one thing more. And then, the most ugly answer on daily would be something like, I was working on that item yesterday and I need to finish up some stuff, so I will probably continue to work on it today or something like that. That's horrible. That's pathetic, because instead of the getting kind of control of the current state, what is left, what is needed to be done, we are reporting kind of our feelings. Yeah, I was doing something and probably will continue working on something. Please, I'm really begging you, as developers, as an IT, as any other colleagues. On the Scrum meetings, when we are talking about kind of local control of the situation, we should report what is done and what is not done, and is there any help needed? Because we are working as a team. We are aiming for one or several goals, and we want to make work done. It is not a competition between 2 or 3 sportsmen. It is not a competition between 2 or 3 concurrent companies. We are working in the same group. So instead of saying something like, yeah, I will probably work on it, and then wait for critical moment, it is important to say that I'm struggling with this. I will probably try to fix it within some time. Otherwise, I will ask for help. There is nothing bad to ask for help. It is important to learn and to make things done. Sorry for getting on the discussions here. We have 2 types of the controls. It is a local control or mini control on daily, and then we have macro control in end of the sprint. I just realized that I have too much to say about the Agile, about the Scrum, about the sprints, about the planning itself. And probably that video will be 18 plus and probably will damage too many minds. Please let me know in the comments if you would like to have kind of spicy statements to argue about. I will try to make this video then. And talking about the Agile Scrum framework, in quite big companies, it is involved into something called SAFe or Scalable Agile Framework. It means that we have a company which has epic owners and enterprise architect who are basically planning the whole project, how does it look, how it should go, and etc. Then it is split into some units and move it to next stage. It is product management, system architect, and business owners. So let's assume that we decided that our service is big enough, and we will talk also about some hardwares. Our abstract company now works not only for the software, but also for the hardware. So we will have epic owners, which will be responsible for the services, for the software part, and for the hardware part. And probably one person who will be responsible for the communication between 2 of them. Otherwise, we will have this responsibility between them. So we will have 3 epic owners, hardware, software, and hardware software, which is kind of the communication part. And then enterprise architect. The one will be responsible for the software, which will plan how to work with it. We will have enterprise architect for the hardware, to know, for example, which components to use and etc. And one will be responsible probably to communicate between these 2 architects. And then we go to the 2 business at least, or maybe even 3 business. The first one related to the hardware, second one related to the software, and third one for the communication, for testing, and etc. Oh yeah, by the way, we forgot about the testing and verification. We have this responsibility, people, and then we will have bunch of the teams working on different items in these services. So here we will have product owners. And what does it mean? Usually that we have something really big, or let's call it here epic owner, enterprise architect, who is saying we are working on the services to gather information from sensors, from different type of sensors. Then we have business owner, which is responsible for this service. Then this business owner works together with product manager, who is setting kind of the planning, requirements, timeline, finances related to the service for the software part. And then product management or product manager saying, for this service, we will allocate 3 teams. And to be able to deliver this product, we will have 3 product owners who will be responsible to contact with the customers and plan the work according to requirements and design provided by system architect. And then product owner will help teams to plan their work, to plan the stories or work items to work on, and be representative of the team towards the client. So basically, product owner is talking who is the client and returns back to the team in saying, hey, customer would like to have this. And then teams are saying, we're able to do 3 items and 4th one is impossible to do. Then product owner should technically go to the client and say that we are working on the first 3 points that you are saying, but 4th one is not possible to do due to blah, 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 blah. And then team does their job done. Then team works on the items, prioritized by product owner and team together. So it is important for the team to stay sometimes against the product owner and say that no, we are going by this way due to this situation or due to this specification. And if something is violating the requirements, but customer would like to have it, then product owner should bring it up to the chain, to product manager and business owner and epic owner and organization itself or to a customer and fix this problem and either have a deviation and also changes in the project itself or just removing this feature. It is ideally working on the paper in a theory. In the reality, as you can see here, we have so many elements in the chain which might affect on the project. And if one of the elements in the chain works badly, then the whole project might be ruined, I would say. It reminds me of a quote, a chain is no stronger than its weakest link. And I would say that quite often it is true, because if product owner, for example, as a key element will work quite badly, then the whole team will suffer because everything in the project goes quite strange. Or product owner will not react on the client or will work quite badly with the client or customer. If product manager or system architect does their job quite badly, then we will suffer. So there are too many elements which goes wrong. If you hear that my tone is changed, it's because I told too much but then cut it on the editing, so to not get in jail. No. If I say something wrong, that's my personal opinion. Please don't listen to me. It's not serious. Just please feel free to disagree with me. That's absolutely fine. It's just opinion about the situation. Quite often people are working really good. It is my personal opinion. Please feel free to disagree with some of my statements. Think critically, analyze what I said or analyze your work and work structure. I know there are quite big amount of people who working as hell, I would say. They're working not 100%, but 150%, 200%. They are burning out themselves inside, but they are making things done. I know them. And yes, sometimes you could see people who don't care about what is happening. Okay, with this pain, I think that I will stop here. Thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.